Trust you're having a good afternoon on this Monday, the 24th of June. This is K24 Newscut. A look at the news making headlines across the country and beyond. My name is Michelle Ngele Oviambo. Here are the top stories this hour. Organizers of anti-finance bill protests appear before the DCI following arbitrary arrests of participants and organizers of the protests.
If these kids can do what they are doing today, if they can move the mountain, if they can move it to another level, we surrender to them.
Gen Z generation, the youths, our parents, to come together and to go take the signatures and let's take these people out of parliament.
Former presidential aspirant George Wajackoyah on Sunday led Kenyans in protesting against the Finance Bill 2024 in Dallas, USA. Students in Kisii County at risk of missing out on enrollment in universities, colleges and TVET institutions this year due to delays in government-issued identification cards. Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. Clement Muli is the sign language interpreter. Now, former presidential aspirant and Roots party leader George Wajackoyah on Sunday led Kenyans in protesting against the Finance Bill 2024 in Dallas, USA. The bill, which has sparked a widespread outrage, has been described by its critics as detrimental to the economic well-being of ordinary Kenyans. Wajackoyah, known for his outspoken stance on various national issues, expressed support for the bid to have the bill shut down.
Oppression. We reject oppression. You know what I'm saying?
Gen Z, hey! If these kids can do what they are doing today, if they can move the mountain, if they can move it to another level, we surrender to them.
Yes.
If they can give the destiny of our country to the future generation, we surrender. But one thing we don't want to know, we don't want to see those MPs that have been elected, those governors that have been elected and defeated, those senators that have been elected and defeated, those MCAs and women rep, they should go away and pave way for young men and women here.
Mr. Ruto, the negotiation is over. What we want is the finance bill out of the table. And if you know what is good for you, Mr. William Ruto, please don't put that pen on that paper. Because if you do, your name will be forgotten.
Mimi inaniadhiri vibaya sana. Kwa hiyo inatakiwa watu wote wajumuike kuunganisha mawazo ili iweze kukubalika watu wote. Hasa watu wa chini ambao kwa msingi yao Ruto mwenyewe na watu wake walienda wakaomba kura wakapewa. Wamewekwa chini kwa kwanza, wamedhaliliwa vibaya sana. Tunataka kuona kwamba kuna usawa, tunataka kuona wale wote ambao walipromisiwa ahadi ambazo walipokea.
And back in Kenya, youth in Lamu have joined the countrywide demonstrations against the proposed Finance Bill 2024. Led by former Mkomani Ward, a member of County Assembly, Ahmed Sheikh, the youth have criticized the Lamu County Members of Parliament for passing the bill into the second stage in the House.
Sisi tuko hapa kupinga financial bill ya national pamoja na ya county. Nikitoa ushahidi ya kwamba budget ya county kuanzia page 11, hebu pitieni muangalie vile wanavyotukamua maziwa. Leo mtu hospitali theater ilikuwa ni 4,000, anaenda kutibiwa kwa 60,000. Kweli watu wa Lamu wako na pesa hiyo za kwenda kutibiwa?
Na wabunge wetu watatu kwa majina Ruwaida na nani Marubu na Mudama, hususan kwangu ni kwa Ruwaida na Marubu. Wao ni wanawake kama sisi, walikuwa wasimame na sisi. Wao pale sisi tumewachagua, hawakujichagua. Wako hapa nasema opinion yangu. Wewe kama nani opinion yako? Opinion yako peleka kwako. Pale wewe ni mbunge wetu. Unachukua opinion yetu, peleka kule kama sisi tulivyokutuma.
Tunakataa kama wakazi wa Lamu finance bill yote, si nusu-nusu, kwa sababu sisi watu wa Lamu ndio watu ambao tunaumia zaidi na hii bili itakapopita. Kama vijana tunawaambia wabunge wote watatu, kama siku ya Alhamisi watapeana yes katika kura zao, sisi kila Ijumaa tutafika kwa nyumba zao na kwa maofisi yao.
One of the constitution wamesema ni kwamba 23 years old kama umefikisha hiyo miaka na hauna kazi nyumbani, you are expected to pay 300 shillings a month. Tuko nyumbani, where do you expect us to get that money? We are still hustling on the road. Tumekataa kabisa finance bill. We are rejecting it, and please our MPs think twice, fikiria mara mbili, make sure that you make a good decision for your citizens.
We are the voice of the nation. Na wakati tunadharauliwa tunasikia vibaya sana. Na wakiwemo Kimani Chungwa, kwanza ulitudharau sana. Ulisema tunakuja kwa maandamano na taxi. Nataka kuuliza taxi hapa Lamu ziko wapi? Hakuna. Tumekuja na miguu sisi wenyewe. Na tumefunga maduka, tumefunga na hoteli zote. Hata tukitoka hapa tukuli kuku. Mpaka tuhakikishe mmetusikiliza sisi. Kwa hivyo Bwana Ruto, tafadhali tunakuomba utusikize sisi kama vijana wa Lamu.
Meanwhile, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, has urged the Kenya Kwanza government to give a listening ear to protesters who are opposed to the contentious Finance Bill of 2024 and address the challenge of brutality meted out on unarmed protesters by police officers. Through a statement read to congregants during yesterday's Sunday service, in several NCCK member churches across the country, the clergymen also called upon the elected leaders in Parliament to listen to the voices of the people and resist any urge to pass the bill in its current state.
We are well aware it is the responsibility of every citizen to pay taxes. However, when a government imposes taxes that have become a very heavy burden on the shoulders of the citizens, this government then should take time and listen to the voices of the citizens. Please, let our businesses thrive. We have seen taxes, heavy taxation on import duties, making investors, even the local traders, unable to make anything out of the businesses that they are doing because of these heavy taxations. We therefore call upon our members of parliament in Isiolo County, in Meru County, and the whole country, come Thursday, let them reject this bill, let it be sent back to the Treasury, let them go back to the drawing board and come up with a bill that is going to be possible to be shouldered by the Kenyan citizens.
Now, former Chief Justice William Mutunga will this afternoon accompany activists Boniface Mwangi, Hanifa and Hussein Khalid to DCI headquarters. The three have been in hiding following arbitrary arrests of participants and organizers of the anti-finance bill protests. Former CJ Mutunga claims that activist Boniface Mwangi was almost abducted outside a city mortuary by DCI on Friday, contrary to Article 238 of the Constitution. The appearance comes even as the whereabouts of Shad Khalif, one of the protesters who has been publicly opposing the proposed finance bill, remains unknown. According to CCTV footage, Khalif was abducted by unknown people at the Laenzi shopping mall in South B in Nairobi on Sunday evening. Our reporter Joel Chacha is live from the DCI headquarters and joins us with the latest. Chacha, good afternoon. What else do we know so far?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Michelle. Indeed, I'm coming to you live from the DCI headquarters. That is along Kiambu Road. About 30 minutes ago, we saw the former Chief Justice, that is Dr. Willy Mutunga, who, in company of Boniface Mwangi, among other activists, have arrived here, just of course to raise concern on the number, or rather on the rise of abductions, especially even as the Gen Z is still ongoing with the 7 days of rage. Tomorrow, it is anticipated that a nationwide protest will take place similar to what we witnessed last Tuesday, and especially in all major towns and as well in Nairobi's capital, in the Kenya's capital, Nairobi. And as you can see, security has been heightened. Those are, of course, a special unit of the DCI who are just here to ensure that security has been beefed up. We've also seen others who are dressed in civilian, and of course they have covered also their face, being here just to ensure that even as the activists are within the DCI premises, at no point will they stage yet other demonstrations outside here. Of course, as a result of the panic and fear, there is a huge traffic snarl-up that is along Kiambu Road, and this, of course, has been as a result of police officers who had blocked this road just to ensure that they limit the persons who will accompany, of course, those particular activists. And just to show you some of the officers that are dressed in civilian, of course, they're part of the DCI forces. Remember, this has been a concern of how these particular DCI officers or police officers should be dressed while involving or engaging protesters. And as you can see, they're dressed in jeans, jackets, and also capes while covering their faces. And it becomes hard or difficult to be able to trace them when an issue arises, especially whether it's a shooting of these particular demonstrators, as we witnessed also last week with the issue of Rex, and as well another protester who passed on, that is at the Kenyatta National Hospital. Just to engage Stephen Mbogwa, who is a council member of the Law Society of Kenya, who is here, talk to us about the latest abduction, especially last evening. And of course, you've spoken to some of those who are victims as a result, of course, of being abducted. What is their concern? What has been happening? And who do you suspect is behind these abductions?
Thank you very much. And I think we have witnessed very serious misuse of power for the last few days, where the police have been abducting members of the public, innocent protesters who have been expressing their views on dissatisfaction with the government. And we as the Law Society of Kenya took a keen note on what is happening in the country. Section 4 of the Law Society of Kenya give us mandate to push for the safeguard of the rule of law. And that is what we have been pushing for. And we have tried to make the members of the public to understand that Article 37 allows them to protest peacefully. And the police also have a duty which is to protect citizens and property. So where the duty bearer then proceeds to misuse the power and abduct people, that is the main reason why we decided to present Boniface Mwangi today, because it's not the first time in Kenya people have been abducted and disappeared. Yesterday we were at Parklands police station to report the abduction of Dr. Austin together with the KMPDU and the members from the Doctors Association. And we noticed that for Boniface Mwangi, who had taken some refuge to avoid being abducted, it's better we present him to the police, to the DCI headquarters today, and understand what is the reason for they are looking for him, why do they need him, and if so, we have proper procedures and also standing rules which guides how someone is supposed to be summoned and to appear before the DCI. This aspect of just abducting people and put them in the boot and they are held incommunicado is totally against the Constitution, is a violation of human rights and fundamental freedoms, and the Law Society of Kenya has taken keen interest in collecting a lot of this data to ensure that we are going to follow up on these cases and file petitions against these individual police officers and the Inspector General of the Police. And we want to request the members of the police force, even as you enforce your orders, kindly ensure you don't go against the law, because when it comes to responsibility, you are going to be held personally liable. Your bosses cannot be held liable for giving you an order which is illegal. It is you who enforced it. If you go ahead and kill people, we are going to hold you personally liable.
On how they are dressed, some of them even covering their faces, their heads, and being in civilian, is this provided for in the law? How are they supposed to be dressed? And also, do you feel there is double speak? On the other hand, we have President William Ruto coming out to say, you can come out and express your democratic right. But a few days later, of course, we tend to witness these particular abductions and even protesters being tear gas in the streets. What's that the law say?
We have also suffered, as the members of the Society of Kenya as victim. We have been humiliated and brutally assaulted in police stations as we try to secure the release of protesters. It worries us because when you look at when an officer passes here fully masked and casually dressed, not in uniform, and carrying a gun and appear to you, you may never know even whether you're dealing with a police officer because there's not even proper way of identification. There's a whole reason why there are better ways of dealing with protesters, because I don't think there's anyone carrying any weapon to fight them, where they are carrying live bullets and guns to intimidate the members of the public to express their views, is a serious issue of concern, and we humbly want to request the Inspector General of the Police. It's important you comply with the law. And also the head of the intelligence, who is also a member of the Law Society of Kenya, Haji, he is important, he advises his teams also. It's important to respect the rule of law and to work within the confines of the Constitution, because in 2010 we gave this Constitution onto ourselves. And the reason why we did that is to avoid going back to the days where people will be abducted, disappear, and without trace, and they are held incommunicado.
Well, that's Stephen Mbugu, a council member of the Law Society of Kenya, who is here, of course, in company of other human rights groups, of course, and as well, Boniface Mwangi was an activist accompanied by his fellow activist and as well the former Chief Justice, that is Willie Mutunga. We are right here, we'll be waiting to see when they step out or come out of this particular, of course, of the DCI headquarters, what they will have to say as far as the whole issue of abductions and forced disappearance is concerned. But that's the situation, Ngele. Of course, we'll keep our viewers updated later on in a subsequent bulletins. Back to you in the studio, Michelle.
Israel Chacha live for us from the DCI headquarters on Kiambu Road as organizers of anti-tax protests appear before the DCI, complaining about what they say are arbitrary arrests for organizers and protesters following a series of events that are set to culminate in round 2 of Occupy Parliament demos tomorrow. Let's take a break here in K24 News Cut. Much more making headlines on the other side. Just stay with us.